In this video, I want to talk about the seriousness of human trafficking, especially when it comes to kids. Anyone, but especially when it comes to kids. And I take this subject very serious, and I feel that everyone should as well. The reason that I have an issue, not with her singing, and this is with Allyson Carter or Ally Carter, it's not that I have an issue with her as far as her being trafficked as a kid. It's the fact that she's saying that she has evidence to help other kids and she's refusing to give up that evidence. That's where I have a problem at. The other problem that I have with her is when she's telling kids and telling people, don't say anything, don't speak, you can't trust anyone. That may be your reality, but it isn't everyone's reality as far as not being able to trust people. There are people out there, the only thing they are dedicated to doing is bringing these kids home, getting them out of that situation and into safety. And when you're telling people, don't say anything, don't talk, you can't trust anyone, you're putting in their mind, you're no different than the criminal, the predator is telling them you can't trust anyone, don't talk. If you do talk, they're not going to believe you. Or if you do talk, I'm going to find out and I'm going to take out your family. I'm going to take out your brother, your sister, the people that you love. You're doing the same thing when you're telling them, do not talk, do not say anything, do not listen to her. If you're in a situation, if you get caught by the police and they're asking you questions, tell your truth, tell the truth. There are people out there, like I said, they're dedicating their lives to stopping trafficking when it comes to adults as well as kids. And I want to share something with you.
Police. But it did spark a police investigation. The case of a child missing from a DeKalb County Department of Children and Family Services office, an office she was living in, a building not even meant for living or raising a healthy child. So she ran away from it.
There's a lot of trauma for her.
Hoping to be a change in the foster care system, Colleen adopted her child in 2017. A young girl, she says, survived years-long sexual abuse.
So since 12 years old, while some people are like in football, soccer, cheerleading, she was learning how to use her body. Exactly.
Did anything go on in there between you and the gentleman's side? It's just a yes or no question, that's all. No? Okay. So you good? All right.
The man claimed he was innocent.
I think he pulled.
Yeah.
I think he probably saw her out about.
The DFAC's caseworker, who later met the officer and the child at the hospital, shared this concern.
And she also has history of sex trafficking. So that's why I do advise my supervisor to bring her here.
This summer, the FBI rescued nearly 30 Metro Atlanta children sex trafficked in hotels. The agency confirmed at least 3 were identified as runaways from DFAC's custody.
A nationwide operation led by the FBI rescued more than 200 victims of sex trafficking, including more than 50 underage victims. They also found another 50 children who'd been reported missing. The initiative, dubbed Operation Cross Country, also led to the arrest of 6 alleged human traffickers. The annual operation is in its 13th year and showcases the partnership between federal and local law enforcement agencies across the nation, all in an effort to track down trafficking victims.
Yes, that is another thing that just goes in and out of the news. We were talking about on the podcast the 39 or 35 kids that were rescued in Georgia, and it was a blip in the news. But meanwhile, I saw 1,000 articles on how mean Ellen is.
Yes.
Ellen's mean. She's so mean. Meanwhile, there's people are out there risking their life to stop human trafficking. They're rescuing children from human trafficking.
Yes.
What is this? U.S. Marshal. Wow, 72 million missing children. Excuse me, 72. Let's say million. 72 missing children across Indiana, Iowa, Ohio, and Georgia in the past several weeks. So what is this is where these. So when you read an article like that, U.S. Marshals rescued 72 missing children, this is where like all the QAnon people get crazy because they think that Donald Trump is secretly working behind the scenes to stop child trafficking, and that there's like some secret cabal in the government that wants to enable this shit. Right. And then Facebook bans QAnon, and everyone's going crazy now. Yeah. Like this child trafficking thing is real. It's real. It has always existed.
Did you know that Houston is actually one of the hubs for child trafficking in the U.S.?
Really?
Yes, it is.
Now, how do they find out about child trafficking? Like, how do they infiltrate?
So usually it's local law enforcement that recognizes some abnormalities in the behavior of some of the children. Usually it's certain areas, certain shops, certain businesses that are kind of harboring these people. A lot of them just get stopped because, I mean, it's kind of really odd if you're in a van or an 18-wheeler and then there's like 20 kids in it. It's weird. And we, as a culture, have got to work with local law enforcement to start to curb this thing because that's where the rubber meets the road.
How are they infiltrating? Like how? Because there's also a bunch of guys that are former spec ops guys that are working to fight child trafficking. How are they doing this?
So the solution to this, in my opinion, and I'll get to your answer in a second. The solution to this, in my opinion, is actually, and I would be in huge favor of this, of literally starting a separate task force to address this in known hotspots. The other way we're finding out, as to answer your question, the other way that we're finding out as to how they're infiltrating is really if you go to hubs of the world like Houston, you go to coastal cities where people are actually bringing people into the country, that's exactly where you're going to find a lot of it. So if you just kind of hang out around these areas, then you'll see a lot more of it. You'll discover a lot more of it. And so Houston has become kind of one of those hubs because of its geographic location. It's actually near a port city, and obviously people are coming through port cities at a higher rate. Cargo's coming through at a higher rate. And so we're actually able to track that at a better rate. If you just kind of hang around the hoop, you'll find it.
And when you see the statistics, when you see these things that are really out there, that these kids are getting trapped in, because this isn't anything new. Sadly, it's nothing new. It has always been going on. And then sadly, with the internet, it's more prevalent now because these predators have more access to your kids, and they're in a safe environment. The predators are, where they can take time to really groom your kids, to really build trust with your kids. So as soon as they say something against the kid's parents, the child is gonna feel like, this is my friend. My friend is gonna help me. My friend is not gonna hurt me. Even though they don't even know who that person is on the other side of the computer, they're gonna believe them. They're gonna trust them. And so that's very important, why parents know exactly what their kids are doing online, who their kids are speaking to. Don't just hand them the world. When you hand them the phone, you're handing them the world. When you hand your child a phone, a computer, a tablet, or anything like that, you're actually giving your child access to the world, and you're actually giving the world access to your child. The same people that, if they showed up at your front door and say, hey, can I come and hang out with your child in their room, you would say no. But when you hand them that tablet, that computer, that whatever device they're on, you're actually saying yes at that point. Yes, you can speak to these people. Yes, you can interact with adults. Yes, you can have this adult as your friend, or you can speak to these people even though they don't line up with my values as a parent. I'm okay with you interacting with them online because you feel like it's safe for them. But in reality, it's not, because they still have influence over your kids on the computer, on the internet. They still have access to your kids. The same people that you would not give access to if they showed up at your front door are the same people you should not give access to your kids through the internet. Very serious. And this is very, you want to protect your kids. So this is something that you really should pay attention to as parents, to know what's going on with your kids, and also have those hard conversations with your kids, that everybody on the internet is not your friend. Everybody who say they're 12 years old and they're experiencing the same thing may not be 12-year-old. You may be talking to an adult that's pretending to be 12. So you have to make your children aware of that so they don't get caught up in these traps. And teach your kids not to idolize famous people. And also be careful about the songs, the music. To better understand the high rates of sex trafficking amongst Black women and girls, research has indicated the continued sexualization of Black women and girls' body, which has played out since slavery. The myth around Black women and girls' hypersexuality cannot be ignored when researching sex trafficking. Furthermore, the continued treatment of Black girls as older than their age must be explored when looking at the data surrounding the prevalent rates of domestic sex trafficking of Black girls. In addition, the intersecting factors like low socioeconomic status, child welfare involvement, detachment from education, criminal justice involvement, and a history of physical sexual abuse must be addressed. These factors contribute to the increased vulnerability of sex trafficking. Compared to their racial counterparts, Black women and girls suffer higher rates of these combined factors. U.S. is a top destination for child sex trafficking and is happening in your community. Key takeaway. In 2018, over half, 51.6% of the criminal human trafficking cases active in the U.S. were sex trafficking cases involving only children. In the U.S., child trafficking is aggravated by four main factors: the porous southern border, predatory or social media use, pornographic, and broken families. The Biden administration must follow our existing laws and seal our porous southern border. Much more must be done, but that is a critical first step. Cara was 11 when her family first sold her body for drugs. Sydney was 14 when she met an older man online who promised her financial security and a better life. And after another stunt in the foster care system, Marcus decided that anything, including homelessness, would be better than the foster family he was living with. Each of these stories from real girls and boys in the United States reflect the most common entry points for children being pulled into child trafficking. The factors are frightening. They're saying that children are being sexualized, especially young Black girls are being sexualized. And when they out here twerking and they're out here singing these adult songs with lyrics they don't understand what they're meaning, you don't think grown men are looking at them doing this and fantasizing about them? Because they are. So that's why it's very important to be careful with what your kids are doing on the internet and who they're socializing with on the internet as well. And that's why I have a problem with Ally, because she's just throwing everything out there. She's just, oh, I know this person. Now she's saying that people are saying, were you in that video with Jay-Z?
Some people are saying that I was in the Run This Town video with Jay-Z in 2009. So as far as that picture on the Run This Town video, I honestly do not know. Because 2009, there's a lot that happened.
This is Rock Nation, pledge your allegiance.
Then she comes up with she's Tupac's daughter. And the only reason that his name is not on the birth certificate was due to a shift change. In the hospital, they was doing a shift change, so Tupac wasn't able to sign the birth certificate, and the nurse actually signed it. A nurse cannot sign a birth certificate. If something happened and the father is not there, or they miss each other, the people who have the birth certificate, then no one signs that birth certificate. The father's name will be left blank, because whoever signs that birth certificate saying that they're the father of the child can be held responsible for child support, for anything that goes on with that child, because now they signing that to take responsibility. And if the nurse who has nothing to do with the mother or the child, one, why would the mother allow a nurse to sign the birth certificate? And two, especially if the father's Tupac, and two, why would a nurse just say, oh, the father's not here, it's a shift change, let me sign the birth certificate? That makes no sense to me. And when she says things like that, that's not logical. I have no clue who she is or who her family is, her father is, or anything like that. But she's throwing out there, Tupac is still alive. She's
have a lot of evidence that I have not released yet. And Tupac, you won't be able to hide from the public if I do. Okay? Anybody that was in my biological family as surrogates, they know damn well what I'm talking about. All of y'all know what I'm talking about. And if something happens to this woman right here, that's the only person that I will ever consider. She is my mother. I know nothing else. So somebody touch my mama, it won't be a Sandra Bland situation. You guys will be seeing us on t-shirts. And I'm down with that because we know where we're going. But if insurance releases insurance, you release everything. And I mean everything. If a song comes on of cleaning out my closet, everybody knows what that means. So I want to tell you now, I know a lot of shit that I should not know. I haven't even got to the facilities. I haven't even got to things where things are buried. Why do I know cases that were in San Bernardino in 2005 when I was a child? I know a lot of shit that I haven't put off yet because every time I do, you guys see what kind of hell that we get. So like I said, Tupac, you know what I'm talking about, and you won't even be able to hide from your own family. Try me. You know I don't bluff.
It's all this stuff that she's throwing out there that I feel is taken away from the real issue of these children need help. And if you got evidence, why keep it undercover until your life is threatened? If somebody kill you, then yeah, go give all this evidence up. If something happened, yeah, then tell then. But until then, I'm holding that evidence to myself. I'm gonna allow all the. I keep yelling, I want to help the kids. I want to help the kids. I want to help the kids. But I'm gonna allow them to continue to get, sold into sex slavery and be molested and things like that. I'm gonna allow that to keep going on, even though I have this evidence that can stop it. I'm not gonna let this evidence go unless my life ends. And then I got people on the sideline, the kill switch, that once something happened to me, they're gonna release all this. Tupac's still alive. I don't care unless he got some kids somewhere hiding them. Then I care. But if he don't have any kids anywhere, if he's not involved in this any type of way, dead or alive, then why do it matter? Then what's the point of him still being alive? Why? If your journey is about saving kids, unless he got some kids in wherever, in Nevada or wherever he's supposed to be at now, unless he got some kids, it doesn't matter if he's dead. And I was a big Tupac fan growing up, listening to his music. At one point in time, I really did care if he was dead or alive. But now it's like, unless he got some kids somewhere and he's still alive, and he got kids in the basement that he's not letting out, then I really don't care. I truly don't care, because that's defeating the purpose. When you keep muddying the water, that takes away from what's really going on. Not in an evil way that I'm saying this, but she reminded me of Forrest Gump. And what I mean by that is, if you ever watch the movie Forrest Gump, every event that ever happened that was like during his time period, that was news, he was involved in. You see, he was the one who picked up the phone and said he couldn't sleep because he seen lights on in the thing, and it was supposed to be I forgot the president name. It was supposed to be that president, I can't even think of the president name. If I think of it, I'll put it up there. But he the one who's supposed to have broke that case. And it's a lot of major events that was happening that he was a part of. And that's how I feel with her. Every time you turn around, it's this. She's throwing out all these names, all these places, all this stuff that she know about, that she's been a part of. But where's the evidence? Where's the conversation to save people if you know about this, this, and this? So the authorities, the right people could go in and investigate that, look that up. Cause I'm gonna share some other videos with you. Like that young lady that you just seen who said she, got into sex trafficking at the age of 15 because she thought she got mad at her mom. She thought she was going to a friend who's going to help her make money. What you can get from that story is she's truly hurt by her experience that she went through. Not only can you learn from that as far as if you're a parent, make sure you know what's going on with your kids. And then as what she said, she was on Facebook, and that's how there was no type of thing to prevent these adults from pretending to be kids and, get access to your kids. And she feel that it was Facebook fault. That's going to bring attention to what's going on Facebook. And then also with her speaking up, letting people know what went on with her, 2 people, was able to her trafficker and a person who SA'd her was able to get caught and put in jail. That's the kind of story that you want to hear, that these people really did get justice for what was done to them. They are in the position because now she's going to stop that guy, the ex-trafficker, from doing that to other people because now he's locked up. And then maybe they can get other people through him and through the other person. And that's what you want to see when you see these stories about these people who was victimized, that they came out of it, that they're getting the help that they need, but they're also helping other people by telling their story, by if they got evidence, if they know something, they're telling it, because then it can help the next person. They can help the next person. You see with all these other stories that I showed you, the main thing that you need to do is speak up and speak out. And so it hurts my heart to hear her say, I got evidence, but I'm not gonna show it. I'm not gonna tell. I'm not gonna help these people. If you have a whole organization, according to Ally, if you have a whole organization of names, people, places, and things, but you're holding that to yourself, you're hurting the people in the process. You're hurting these people that maybe they not strong enough to speak up and say, hey, this is what's happening to me. But you got evidence that can shine a light on what's going on. God asks us to be salt of the earth and light in this world, to shine light in dark places. I speak about it. I have no evidence because I'm not in those positions. I'm not around those people. But believe me, if I did have evidence, I would give it to different people. Even if the first person didn't listen to me, I keep talking. Just like I come on this platform. This isn't my first time speaking about this subject. I keep talking about it, keep speaking about it, keep talking about close the border. I keep talking about how they're bringing kids across the border and what is happening to these kids. I've been speaking about it for as long as I know. I don't feel anyone is listening to me. So in my heart, I really don't feel anyone is listening to me. But guess what? Here I am now, talking about this, telling people if you've been a victim and you can speak up. Get help that you need. Get counseling if you need counseling. But speak up. Do whatever you can to help yourself get better, but also get the people, because if everyone be quiet about what these people doing and they say nothing, guess what? These people are still out there. These predators are still going to prey on other victims. They may let you go because once, when it comes to young kids that get involved in this situation and they release them, and now they no longer are valuable to them as to be sex trafficked, and they just let them go. They don't stop. These predators don't stop just because they let this group of people go because they aged out. They go get younger. It's not like they say, well, okay, I'm gonna stop now. No, they just continue the cycle by saying, oh, let me go get younger people. Let me go out there and get younger people. That's why it's a never stopping thing, because once this group age out, if they survive, if they live, they age out and they go and they just release them. And now they got these people who was in this for the majority of their lives, really don't know what to do with their life now because that's all they know. But they still, the predators continue to be predators and to continue to go out and make other victims, get other victims. And sometimes the victims, once they age out, because that's the only thing they know, they become victimized. They become victims themselves, or they want to stay in that environment and say, hey, I want to stay here, but I will help you get other people and bring them in, because you got to think about, it's that mentality where these people has been victims, and the only person they could depend on for anything, for food or anything like that, is the people that was victimizing them. It's just like with a wife that may have an abusive husband, but she stay with him because it's like, how can I make it alone? He's always taking care of me. He pays all the bills. If I leave him, what I'm gonna do? And you know, it's that type of mentality. And the same thing sometimes with people who have been victimized. It's that type of mentality. So it's like, I know Ally wanted to be an actress, a model in that environment, the same environment that she says she talks about with disgust. That's the same environment that she wanted to be in. So are you acting? Is the world your stage now? Are you performing? Are you putting on a performance? You know, what is really going on? I just pray that if she truly have information that can help kids, that she just turn it over now to whoever and everyone, and just stop playing this game, stop muddying the water, stop confusing people on what's right and what's wrong. Because, you know, it's like, don't sit around, you know, what's the point of saying, hey, I know where the body is buried at, and then they say, well, okay, where is it? I'm not telling. Oh, I know, you know, this person got, you know, these kids and stuff like that, and they're over here. I know exactly where they're hiding them at, but I'm not going to tell. What's the point of even opening your mouth and saying that? It's just like that situation with Christian Keys, how everyone started to get mad at him when he said there's a celebrity, and if I say his name, everyone will be mad and upset with me, so I'm not going to say his name. And at first everybody was like, okay, who? They playing guessing game. Is it this person? Is it this person? You know, is it TP and everything like that? And then the people got to the point where it was like, if you're not going to tell us, why even open your mouth and say anything? You know, it got to that point with him. And so it's the same way with you. That's how I feel. If you're not going to help these kids and turn over information that you say you have, then what's the point of saying you have this information? No one really asked you. This is something you volunteered to say. And it's not me victimizing the victim. It's me asking why even say you got all this information, I got all this evidence, but I refuse to give it up, even though I know it can help the next person. And you're saying, this is what I want to do. You're saying no. It's like with the military, the Marines say, you know, no soldier left behind. They don't leave anyone behind. And that's what you're saying, that you're not gonna, all these people that was there with you, that you seen, you know, that went through the same thing you did, you're gonna stand up for them. You're gonna stand up for the voiceless, but you're refusing to give up information that can help the voiceless. That's the problem, and that's what I don't understand. And that's what I'm being attacked for in the comments, because people are not saying, I see what you're saying. They keep saying why you're attacking her. I'm not attacking her. I'm just asking why you're not willing to give up evidence. I never said that didn't happen to her. I just questioned some of the holes in her story. I feel I have a right to say, well, the time frames don't match up, or what do this have to do with that? I have a right to say that. But that doesn't take away from what she may or may not have went through. Because like I said, I wasn't there. I don't know. But all I know is what you're saying. The only thing that sticks out to me is I have evidence that can help bring down the organization that is hurting kids, but I refuse to give that evidence up. That's what I hear. Over everything she said, that's what stands out to me. I can help these kids, but I refuse to do so.